Okay, welcome back. Again, playing the Kerbal Space Program demo. I've got the Wacky 6B command module. Everything's launched. I've expanded my orbit out about 700,000 meters. Got some fuel left. I'm going to get set up to go to the moon. So let's set it as a target, and ideally we want to be, according to the tutorial, 45 degrees off of the moon. So we want to be, somewhere pointing in this direction, it looks like. So let's see if we can get ourselves set up for that. We want to be in a prograde burn at this point. And so this is the target we want to be at. And turn on our engines. We'll see it rotate around. Whoa. I don't want to go that far, because it's going to go swinging right past, and then we'll never get there. So you got to pay attention to that, because if this goes too far, then it screws up your whole orbit deal. So yeah, I had to shut down my engines pretty quick. In the meantime, I can use the time warp function, and so you can see there, it's going to speed us up and get us around here quickly. I actually want to be back down here again, all the way at the bottom of the orbit, because that's the only way to extend the top of the orbit, the apoapsis. And in order to do that, we have to be at the bottom, the periapsis, also known as perigee in some circles, or apogee is the top, which is the apoapsis. So let's get down here. It says we'll be there in 5 minutes. 4, 3, 2, and let's slow down time again. Okay. So you'll notice our prograde burn kind of stayed with us, this orientation. Turn off stabilization in order to get my craft aligned with that. And it's pretty level. I mean, we're only off, what, a degree or so. 1.8 degrees, almost 2 degrees on our orbit, but that should set us up for a nice orbital insertion around the moon. So here's where we start, again, a prograde burn. You should see the apoapsis start to move out there. Actually, I'm going to throttle back, and I'm going to try and get, because our periapsis moved on us, just a smidge. I want to get down there again, because that's really where you're going to be the most efficient with your burn. Okay, we're there. Start up the engine again. So this should basically just move out here. Unfortunately, it looks more like it's closer to 90 degrees than it is 45. I'm wondering how large of an actual orbit we're going to need to get captured by the moon. I'm going to start throttling back, because that's moving pretty quick now. Approach. So it's going to take something. Throttle back some more. Okay. So just some small movements, small adjustments on the throttle. Oh, there we go. Now you'll notice the orbit, if we stayed on this path and didn't try and get around the moon, would take us in a really wide elliptical around planet Kerbin. But at this point, it looks like we'll be captured by the moon's gravity well in about 7 hours. And we will have to do a retrograde burn in order to get captured there, so that we're not moving too fast, because we could blow right past the moon and never even see it. But this gives you kind of a 3D view of the orbits involved and how that's all going to work when the moon snags us out of middle of space. So what we're going to do now is speed up time, because I don't know about you, but I don't want to sit around for 7 hours and 45 minutes, right? So let's do the time warp again. Move it up to 100 times, 1,000 times, and that should get us there much quicker. You can actually warp even faster, but it gets a little out of hand. Here comes the moon. 36 minutes, and let's begin slowing down. We're at 100 times speed. You'll notice that command module for 6A, that spacecraft is off axis quite a bit. I'm wondering how much 6B is going to be off axis since we came in at this angle. Not as severe as 6A, but it's there. Alright. So this is all going to change. We have to wait till we actually get to the point. And the thing is, I've noticed you have to really just kind of wait out the last minute or two, because the math gets messed up under the warp acceleration, so then everything moves around on the screen and you're just wondering what went wrong. Nothing went wrong, it's just bad calculations because of the time warp. So usually run that last minute or two under a normal time. It's a good idea. Looks like a nice roller coaster ride, though. Looping up and around the moon. So, less than 30 seconds now. Boom. See, everything changed. So that's the bottom of our orbit around the moon. We're now captured by the moon. And actually what I want to do here is a retrograde burn, because we want to pull this down, because we want to slow down in relationship to the moon so we don't fling ourselves off into space. So let's go look for that retrograde indicator. We were swinging by kind of fast. Turned on the thrusters for a second there. Okay. Again, controlled burn, just do a little bit of thrust. This is what it looks like for us in the ship, the spacecraft. And the moon is there. Still just a smidgen of fuel left. We're going to use probably all of that to get us where we need to be. Oh boy, that's not good. We don't want to crash into the moon. Alright, well, I'm going to have to fix that. Means I got to do a prograde. Oh man, wasting fuel. But we need orbit. I want to do that before we land, just because that's a really steep descent that could turn out bad. Although we're not going that fast, honestly. I would just much rather achieve orbit than crash. Okay, so let's make sure that's a decent distance. That's probably good, 30,000 meters. It's only the moon, there's no atmosphere, we can skim that. And we're going to accelerate time. We're not under acceleration, I thought. There we go. Because I don't want to sit around and wait for an hour to get there. Oh, slow down. To give you a sense again what that looks like, here we are. The moon is this big dark thing. We are pretty close right now. The other thing is, with the orbit that I want, it'll get us in a landing zone that's in the light instead of, you know, the Pink Floyd part of the moon. Speed up time warp. Okay, I need to adjust for retrograde burn. Actually, I'm gonna make it look pretty by making us level. Hold city there. Alright, let's do our burn. That'll bring our apoapsis back around without affecting our... Oop. That was the end of that. Let's drop off those rockets. We don't need them anymore. They're out of fuel. See, there's our apoapsis. The line came back around and connected. Bring our orbit. Back around. And that one is almost as much, I guess, off axis as 6A. So, yeah, makes a difference when you get there, how you end up. You really want to be as flat with the moon as possible, level. Otherwise you get these wacky, crazy things going on. Alright, so we've achieved orbit. It's a pretty small orbit compared to 6A. So let's call that good. Mission accomplished. We got into orbit around the moon for a second time. So keep following and see what happens next in another video.